Hey everyone, it's Reimers. Month 4 feels kind of crazy. Um, yeah, we're actually kind of close to 6 months, which is half a year. It's a really long time. Um, last month the video was really short, and that was not a good month. This month I would say is not where I'd like things to be, but it was definitely better. Um, I think I can feel the progress slowing. Like when I think about that 6 month number, I think about um, what scale is representative of 6 months of studying. And I think kind of looking back, the curve has slowed a little bit, which is like understandable. I think there's a lot of beginner gains with language learning where you learn like the first. I remember in the very, very first video, it's like that curve, right? Like the gains at the beginning are huge because you're learning like the words that are everywhere. But I don't think that's my problem. My problem is that I'm not spending a ton of time. This month I had school start, which obviously is a lot of time. But I actually don't think that that's like the limitation, right? Like I have a lot of free time now. I had even more free time before. But I don't think that's the reason. I mean, I guess it is. It makes it harder to find time to dedicate to Korean. One of the things that I found was really, really important for me over the summer was getting Anki done early. Pushing off Anki makes it feel like a chore. Like I just did Anki at 9:30 at night, not fun. And so when I would wake up at 11 during the summer, I would just get my Anki done out of the way. And what I'd done during the school year last year was do it at lunch. And I really just need to commit to doing that. I just haven't been doing that. Speaking of Anki, we are 125 days. Anki, very consistent. I feel like I can't lose the streak. And that's actually what I want to be with some of the other places. So I can't show it here, but on I downloaded from the Refold Habits video. This one. There's an app that looks like
As I've mentioned in my
this. And the habits I put on it are watch 15 minutes of Korean videos, view grammar resource for 15 minutes, do all my Anki, and read for 15 minutes. And I don't think there's been one day where I did them all. So far, I've been doing it for a week. But I think those are all very reasonable goals. They seem like a lot of time. It's like an hour in total, which actually is not that much time. But I think if I did all of those, I would feel very happy about my progress, right? Like 15 minutes of immersion, 15 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of grammar, doing my Anki. I feel like that's a lot. And I just need to get on that streak and then not want to change it like the Anki streak, right? Like right now I feel like, I don't do reading every day. It's easy to put off. But I feel like once I get the streak built up, then that will be better. But Anki, just kind of going through these grammar sentence cards, a lot of the stuff I already know, but I've gotten a couple grammar patterns that are new here, so that's good. Looks like I'm halfway done with that, so that will basically be done by the next video. This vocabulary sentences, so I've done like 300 of these, and these I would say probably like 40%, maybe 30% are new words. There's a lot of words that are being reused. So I'm not learning a ton of new vocab. What I really should be doing is sentence mining, but unfortunately, I am not immersing. So that's on me. But this is fine. And these sentences are good. They're sentence cards. I had done another deck that was just like flashcards, and those are like really rough. Like I think I would just like not do those. But retro is a bunch of more decks after this. What is this one? KR. I like saved it for later. Let's look at what those look like. So the retro ones look like this.
가족이 모두 몇 명이에요?
And they're just a
가족이 모두
sentence.
몇 명이에요?
And there's no translation. I actually kind of like that. Like I felt like with the refold cards, the translation was kind of a crush. Like I would just like start like clicking it every time to be like, oh, did I really understand it? But with these, I just like read it and I'm like, did I get it? I think so. Yeah. Next card. Okay, cool. So these for later. So these look like just like single, or some of them are sentences. Yeah, these look decent. And these I could probably go through pretty quick if there's a lot of them I already know. So that's something to look at. So Anki, just gonna keep doing these, maybe these. As for reading, I made this spreadsheet, and you can actually see, like, Yansei. It took me, like, this was like 3 days of reading, and it took me 3 weeks, right? Like, I just am not reading. That's on me. You know, I accept it. But we finished Yansei 1. Let's go. Pretty good. And now we're on Yansei 2, and I haven't touched that book in a week. So that's on me. Like I said, just need to get that streak up, and I think these are a good place for me to be. I think they're around the level I want to be at. You know, in Yansei 1, they were a bit shorter. These are a bit longer, and they're a bit more intimidating. Like you're looking at this, you're like, wow, that's a lot of fucking Korean. But then you read through it, and it makes sense. I sucked it up, and I paid, speaking of grammar, for Talk to Me in Korean. I think it is $16 a month. So I guess just a little bit of monetary punishment for me if I don't do it. But just 15 minutes a day, and I think I'll be able to get through all 10 levels. I'm at halfway through level 4 right now. In probably by the next month, I should be able to get rid of that. So I think that's fine to spend $20 on. And these are helpful. And again, I think I talked about this previously. It's not about memorizing it. It's just about knowing that it exists. And yeah. As for immersion, I found that some of these, like these level A0 ones, or not the A0 ones, like the A1, A2, like I was watching this house flipper one, and it felt like obviously I don't like fully understand everything, but it felt like I wasn't really learning a ton. And I think that's good. Like that's great. Like I'm moving past these like beginner content. That's awesome. And so I think there's still value in like these kind of videos. But like in this one, he was just going around the house, like saying the name of all the items in the house. And like, I know most of the house items at this point, right? What I have been watching, I remember I was watching this. I watched Best Mistake, from the, Cloudy Howdy web drama tier list. I don't know, maybe he doesn't have it anymore. He did a web drama tier list video here. And the first one he mentioned was Best Mistake. And so I watched it. And I thought it was good. And the problem was, this was like a while ago. I don't know if I talked about it in the last video. The problem was, I got too attached to the characters that like I wanted to, like, you know, I understood like maybe 30-40%, but I was so attached to the characters in the story, I wanted to know 100% what was happening. So I turned on the subtitles, and that's just like what you can't do, right? Like if the goal is to watch these in Korean, you need to watch them in Korean, right? And you're not going to understand everything, and like that's okay. That's the point. You know, as Refold says, tolerate the ambiguity. Learn to tolerate the ambiguity. So I need to tolerate the ambiguity. Anyways, I'm on season 3 now. I try to watch those before bed. Don't do it as much as I should. So that's a goal for next month. What else is going on? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Hello Talk. I had used this, or I had first downloaded this app when I was learning Japanese, and it's interesting. So if you don't know what it is you put like, oh, I'm an English speaker, I'm learning Korean, and it connects you with Koreans who are learning English. Refold, one of the things they talk about as a great way to kind of start making connections with real people, but not have that early output that you're really trying to avoid with an immersion learning approach, is what they call crosstalk. And that's basically where everyone speaks in their native language. So in this case, I would speak English and they would speak Korean. And it was interesting because I felt like on Hello Talk, I had to really convince these people to do this, because what it felt like is a lot of them were speaking to me in English, but they were using Google Translate or other tools. And I think the reason is because they want to have English friends, and they feel like the only way they're going to have English friends is if they speak to the English people in English. And so they don't speak English, right, because they're learning it. And so they use Google Translate. And so I tried to kind of be like, hey, it's cool if you speak Korean, like then that way I can learn too, and then we can both learn, and we can still talk, we can interact. And so I made some friends on there. It is a bit difficult with the language barrier, especially the time zone. Man, the time zone is rough. But I think this has been interesting. It's been cool. There are real texts from real people that I just fully understood. That's really sick, right? And I think it's a good motivation, just interacting with real people. I think, what are the goals for next month for me? I think definitely kind of get these habits going on a streak, right? If I have a streak that I don't want to miss, like Anki, I think that will be really beneficial. And I think I would be really happy I hope I will be happy. I think that if I do the 15 minutes of grammar, 15 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of videos, and Anki, that's an hour to 90 minutes. I think that is about where I want to be at, and I think that will be enough to see the progress, some progress, right? And the progress that I'm hoping to see. Obviously, you could be doing 2-3 hours, learning a lot faster, but I think that's reasonable for where I'm at, and I think that's the goal for next month, is to pretty consistently be hitting those. And it's not like I don't have the time, right? It's only an hour, which is really nothing. There are some days I'm really busy. Most days it's I'm doing other things that are not important. Like I said, 4 months feels really crazy. I was just watching the first video, and I looked at the date, and it was May. I'm like, holy shit. May. That feels so long ago. And looking at where I was in that video, it is kind of cool to feel some of the progress. I do know a lot of words, and I can kind of read some cool sentences. And when I watch the content that I enjoy watching, I understand 10-20% of it. It's awesome. So I'll see you guys next month for month 5. Thank you for watching if you've been following along. And yeah, bye. Bye-bye.